We were all more skeptic about Swami. Skeptic. My daughter, she met with a very severe accident. Her ankle was shattered. It was into a bag of bones. Ultimately, my daughter will end up in limb deformity. So I sat in the male's queue. She sat in with my daughter in the female's line. Swami came and went towards my wife and daughter and stopped there. But after this episode, she was not even having a limb shortening of a millimeter. Till then, I was not knowing there is an entity called near-death experience. I went inside and I saw this patient, and this patient was struggling. He was telling me in Hindi, "Sir, किसी ने मेरा गला दबा रहा है." I got surprised. Then I put my hand onto his pulse. No pulse, no response. Pupil dilated, gone. You believe it or not, that fellow just got up and sat. You know what is the first thing he spoke? Now, sitting at this point of time, if I look back, it was a great journey. Great journey that my life was completely, totally influenced by Sathya Sai Baba. But I was not aware of it. Probably Swami was influencing me without his physical appearance to me, probably till 2003. His influence was too much because I can correlate so many things to that. From 2003 onwards, so we came physically close to each other. Until then, the influence was tremendous. But to be true, none of our family members, neither my parents nor my relatives, anybody closer by, were devotees of Sathya Sai Baba or any Sai Baba for that matter. I was also not yet truly a Sai devotee then. Rather, we were all more skeptic about Swami. But Swami had a different option, different thinking. Probably he played a huge role in my life. Ultimately, I'm here now. Until 1991, I did my graduation, post-graduation, and I was working as a junior most faculty in Bengaluru Medical College in a boring hospital. I was a lower rung faculty, means lecturer. That was the lowest rung of faculty position then. So I was there as a lecturer working in, and you know those days, the lecturers were all more neglected because they are in the lowermost position of the faculty scale, and opportunities were absolutely zero. In any department for that matter, opportunity was less. Allowing them for planning, execution, and doing their own good job was not allowed those days, and we had to hear the seniors, superiors, till we become professors. It would take probably another 15, 20 years for me to go up to that position and do whatever I would feel like doing. So that was the situation existing then. That was the system going on everywhere in all the government hospitals. So I was very, very restless those days that I wanted to do something. But I was very, very junior. I was only 33-year-old when I was doing a lecturership in my hospital, in Boring Hospital, young. So I was sitting, I was restless. And I was no job to do in the government hospital, though I was one of the faculty member. During those days, when I was sitting in an outpatient, one person came from Whitefield, Dr. Mayurnath. I think he's no more, he's not here. He came to me one fine day, and I was sitting in the outpatient. He asked me, "Are you interested to come and work in Sathya Sai Hospital?" Which was there in General Hospital, was existing in the old building. At that point of time, I was not even knowing there's an institution called Sathya Sai Institution. There's a hospital called Sathya Sai Hospital existing, because Whitefield was a remote suburb then. It was not commercially connected with Bangalore. It was a distant place. Nobody was knowing about what is happening in Whitefield. So I was surprised because he came all the way from there and asking me whether I'm willing to join. I said without knowing, because I was not having, though I was in a faculty member, I never had any good job to do there. So I said initially yes, yes, I'm willing to work. Then he said, okay, I will take this, your opinion, and I'll put it before the hospital authorities, and I'll get back to you in another few days. So the procedure then was, my consent was to be taken to a medical superintendent of that hospital. Dr. Balasubramaniam was the medical superintendent then. It was put to him, and Dr. Balasubramaniam had to take consent from Swami about bringing the people in. So he must have taken the consent. Swami has agreed, and this person came back to me after a few days saying that Swami has consented you to come and work in that hospital. So how do you come? I said, I can come once a week, because in government service I said I'm coming once a week. Then I said, I'm coming completely honorably and I don't take any money. I don't take even money for transportation. I'll come on my own transportation. That's how it started. I came along with Dr. Ramesh, who was the ENT doctor, was also working in the boring hospital. So we were coming together on one particular fixed day. It was, I think, Wednesday, those days. So we used to drive all the way from Bangalore city to Whitefield, like going into a sort of a forest zone. So we were into this deep forest. There were no roads, no lights. So we used to manage, and it was quite enjoyable also. Having joined the services in Sathya General Hospital, even then, I had no intention or desire or some sort of a motivation to go to Brindavan. I was coming to hospital, seeing the patient, operating, and go away. So when I came there, I was the first orthopedic surgeon to start in that hospital because at that time there were hardly few doctors were there. One ophthalmology department was there, anesthesia was there, general surgery was not there, OBG was there, and orthopedic. So I asked Dr. Balasubramanian how to go ahead with orthopedic. He said, we don't have much of money in to do everything, so you start your work slowly. So that is how I designed a process that let me start off orthopedic work starting from non-investment areas of the orthopedic work. That is mainly working on poliomyelitis patients, cerebral palsy patient, congenital deformity correction. There are plenty of such patients were available then. So many polio patients afflicted coming with the deformities, cerebral palsy, that is the birth palsies, and birth defects, limb defects, hip defect, and these defected patients. These children used to come from all around neighboring areas. So I started screening them. I started operating upon them because for me that was an opportunity. I told you my background. I never given an opportunity in my parent institution. So it opened out here. Swami opened out an opportunity for me to show or get my skill trained, sharpened, or whatever it may be. So he opened the opportunity. So that is how Swami initiated to elevate me in my skill, in my experience, in giving training by opening an opportunity like this. So I took the challenge of all these deformities. We started operating on these deformity corrections. And Swami not only gave the opportunities, but professionally he lifted up. Means he protected us in such a way that we never saw any sort of untoward incidents happening in the hospital in our treatment. He was protected so well. See, invariably we see so many problems happening in other parts of the other hospitals because I know I was working in that hospital also. Lot of complications, problems, issues, post-operative complications. So many things happen. But here, to my fortune, Swami has insulated so well. He elevated me and protected me professionally also. That was the biggest motivation, inspiration to for me to go further into the further branches of subspecialty in orthopedics, to go into further training in the specialty of orthopedics. So that because of that, I thought of going in for some more training. So I had gone to Kerala and had my Elizabeth training, and then I went to Hyderabad to have my arthroscopy training. I went to Mumbai to get my spine surgery training. Like that, I started getting all faculties, subspecialty faculty training, and I had an opportunity here. The place was ready. Swami motivated me for getting more trained and skill. So I got skill, I got training. I wanted to become more skilled in that. So Swami has given opportunity, place, people, patient, everything was ready. So I started working. And in every one of our work, I found quite a good amount of success. Even today, I don't regret for thousands and thousands of surgeries we have done here. I think more than 10,000 or 15,000 surgeries must have done. No regret whatsoever because all the patients were happy. It's all because of the Swami's grace. Swami has protected us, both operating person and desa. Patients were all protected. We never had any such problems in surgical. So that is how slowly we started building. So from non-investment area, then I started doing laser application. That's a ring application, correcting the deformity, and those things I started doing. That was also not very expensive. So I introduced laser over here, deformity correction, and slowly went into arthroscopy. So those days, only diagnostic arthroscopy we used to do. Reconstructive arthroscopy, I was not so good at it. So diagnostic arthroscopy we started doing. Then spine surgeries. We did all sorts of spine corrections, spine instrumentation, everything we started doing, discectomies. And finally, in the year 1992, I did my first total hip arthroplasty here. Even Dr. Sundaresh was not here. Dr. Sundaresh joined here in 1994, perhaps. So in 1992, somehow I was so motivated. I told Dr. Subramaniam that I want to do a total joint replacement. He was also enthusiastic. He was a very, very supportive medical superintendent we had in that hospital, Dr. Subramaniam. Of course, Swami's blessing was always there, support was always there. So I did my first total hip replacement in 1992 in Sathya Sai Hospital, General Hospital. And that became a stupendous success. Patient became all right. He lived with giant for about 30 years. And later on he died. So, because it's almost 35 years I passed that I'm working in this hospital. So it's in the beginning of my career I did that. So he passed away recently. So that is how we brought in the subspecialties slowly into this hospital and started developing. And then Dr. Sundaresh joined here. Dr. Pillai also joined here. They were all more trained, more intelligent, more knowledgeable than me, and more skilled people. So all the giants had put together, the department started growing. And to the extent that we were seeing an outpatient of nearly 300 to 400 outpatients those days. Patients used to wait till night, 10, 10:30, 11. I used to be sitting here in the night till night. I used to go home by 10:30 or 11. So much of crowd. Patients were coming from all over the neighboring villages, across the states. So that is how the department grew very well in outpatient as well as inpatient and other things. And 1991, I told you 1981 I joined as per the Swami's decision. Even at that point of time, though I was coming over here to this hospital, many of my colleagues, include Dr. Savitri, I think you must be knowing about Dr. Savitri. Dr. Savitri and Dr. Narayan Murthy and these people were all very, very devotees. They were all very ardent devotees of Swami. So they were all going to Vrindavan in the afternoon. But I was the only person who not knowing going to Vrindavan in the afternoon. So they were all criticizing me that why you are not going to Vrindavan. Why you are only in the hospital and go away from here to home, hospital to home, why don't you go to Vrindavan? I said, I don't have a motivation so far. One fine day, what happened somewhere in maybe in 93 or maybe so, I don't know, 92 93. My colleague Dr. Ramesh was an ENT surgeon here, working here with me. He said, Swami has come from Puttaparthi for summer course to Vrindavan. We'll go and see, have a darshan. I was a bit reluctant, but I said, okay. So we started from the hospital and went to Vrindavan. Vrindavan in 90s was not so much, did not have any so much of infrastructure. There was no Ramesh Hall. There was not so many buildings. Swami's abode was there. Then there was a Kalyan Mandir was there. Hostel was there. College and hostel buildings were there. Otherwise, it's filled with only the forest, lot of trees. So we went there, and we were standing. It was somewhere in the afternoon hours, somewhere in the evening hours. Almost it is becoming dusk. So we said, okay, we'll stand here. So we selected a spot, a tree under which we were standing, which was roughly about more than a furlong from Swami's abode, straight in front of the door. Swami, when he gets out, Ramesh wanted to have darshan. So he told us that we told both of us, we said we are standing here in this tree. Moment Swami comes out, we will see him and have a darshan and go away. That was the objective, which was nearly a furlong away from Swami's door. And it was getting darker also. So Swami has to come out and go to a summer course, which was happening in Kalyan Mandir. So we were standing. Swami came. It was almost dark. Not completely dark. It was getting darker. Swami, after getting out of the abode, walked straight towards the tree where we were standing, which was about one furlong away. I was surprised. We were also, both of us were surprised. Swami came straight to us and asked, who are we? Swami questioned Ramesh first, who are you? Ramesh introduced himself that he's so and so and I'm an ENT surgeon working there. He blessed. He looked towards me. He asked me, who are you? I said, I'm such as a person, orthopedic. He blessed us. and created Vibhuti and gave to us, both of us. But even at that point of time, I don't know why that happened, because that was the first time I entered the Vrindavan and first time Swami is coming to us. And at the first, that is the first encounter, physical encounter between me and the Swami happened in there. But somewhere in my mind, still, my mind was a bit skeptic, because my background was always a background of skepticism. So I was not a staunch devotee then. So anyhow, I received Bhoti, I went away and we went away and Swami went to discourse. Subsequently, again, my attitude remained the same. I was working only in the hospital and going away. But there was some interviews, sir, there was some Swami, our hospital authority was arranging once a year or twice a year to have an interview with Swami in Puttaparthi or in Bengaluru, taking permission. So during that, we used to go in lot. All the hospital faculty going in a bus, or I was going and having a interview and seeing Swami and having a opportunity to interact with him and come back. So once or twice it happened. But otherwise, no one-to-one. There was nothing one-to-one happened during those days. Years passed. Probably in the year 1996, my daughter, she was only 7-year or 8-year-old girl, she met with a very severe accident. Such a severe accident, her ankle was shattered. It was into bag of bones, this ankle joint. She was still growing. It happened on the day when I was in general hospital. I was operating here. So those days there were no mobiles. So I was not knowing what happened there. I went home as usual by 10:30 or 11, because we used to leave here by 10 to 10:30. But outpatient was going on up to 10 o'clock, 10:30 night. So then I used to go back with my scooter in that forest area to home. So when I reached home by 11:30, I came to know that my daughter has sustained such a huge injury in the evening, and they were all down with sadness and sorrow. I also got surprised, because it was shocking for me, because the X-ray shows something like a shattered ankle. So I couldn't think anything else. So I decided, that was a late night also. I never wanted to disturb anybody. And those were the days then CRM was not available. Image intensive was not available. Only one or two hospitals had it in Bangalore. No other hospital had it. So with all difficulty, I made an arrangement myself to go to Ramakrishna Hospital there, who had image intensifier. So I went there. I took my daughter. One Dr. Raghavendra, who was coming here as an anesthetist, also came over there. He came to me. He gave anesthesia to my daughter. I did correction. It took really many hours under image intensifier. I corrected the fracture and put the plaster and everything. With all that efforts, I was not happy about the correction. So next day morning, I took the X-ray and went with all the senior people to have an opinion. I went to all big people in Bangalore, including Sundaresh. All were of the opinion that it is not completely correct. There is a scope for improving it. And all were knowing, and including myself knowing, that it was a very bad case, because growth plate was shattered. Ultimately, my daughter will end up in limb shortening, limb deformity, and all such disabilities. That was known. It was clearly written, because the type of fracture was so bad. It was written on the X-ray itself, the future. And everybody had the same opinion. So I was a bit depressed. But then, that was the time I was talking to Savitri, was also knowing about it, Dr. Savitri. I was discussing with Dr. Savitri about this. Then she said one day, Dr. Manjan, why don't you come this time? Swami is coming some days later. Why don't you bring your daughter and have a blessing? I said, okay, there is no problem. So, but skepticism continued. I was still skeptic. So I myself, my wife and my daughter, who was on plaster of Paris, we came by scooter, and we parked my scooter in Kadgodi police station and took her to Brindavan. And instruction was given by Savitri very clearly that there are two different queues. For the males different and the female different, they are sitting. And Swami comes. Swami will not stop on anybody. He will go. Nobody will allowed to take Pada Namaskaram. Nobody should take. He will come. He will go along the path. And if he stops, she told me, if he stops at you or at your wife's place or your place or your dad's place, you think your job is done. That's what the instruction given to me. So I sat in the male's queue. She sat in with my daughter in the female's line. So we were all sitting. Swami came. Swami came. He went. He made a big ground and went towards my wife and daughter and stopped there. And unknowingly, my wife and my daughter took the Pad Namaskaram. Swami never did anything. He never withdrew his feet. He allowed. He came. He made a big round, came to the male side, and came and stopped in front of me. I also took Pad Namaskaram. He didn't ask anything. I didn't tell anything. He went away. So this is what happened in 1996. Then, after a few months, I opened. I never went for any further correction by anybody because many surgeons said, "You bring them to this hospital, we'll do it." Big people said, "You bring her to Manipal hospital, I will correct it. We went to this hospital." So many things was told to me about my daughter, but I didn't go. I was reluctant to go for further treatment anywhere. But after this episode, she was continuing the same treatment which I had given earlier. After a few months, when I opened, to my greatest surprise, not only after a few months, for the rest of her life, she was not even having a limb shortening of a millimeter. She was not even having a giant disability of even 1 degree. She participated in sports. She won prizes in running. She was a perfectly ankle joint. Today, if I get an X-ray done, you don't believe whether she has a normal, it was a normal joint or an injured joint, fractured. Check X-rays done after a few months was so surprising. It was a near normal giant, almost normal giant. Never had any disability whatsoever. Growth plate injury. See, you don't understand the gravity of this injury. Growth plate was shattered. She was only 8-year-old girl. Another 10 years growth was there. Nothing happened. She became perfect limb. So it was a big change in my mind. So from skeptic to became a devoted now. So some transformation has happened. So I became devoted. So my wife we started keeping his photographs and start worshipping. These things happened in my house. And my children started wearing the, yeah, all these things they were doing. And my daughters also became very devotional, dedicated to Swami. Like this happened, change happened in my family. Then in 2003, I was in Victoria Hospital. Those were the days, though mobile was just started, I never had mobile at that point of time in 2003. I got a call to the hospital, Manjunath, immediately must start, you must come to Whitefield, Vrindavan. I was not knowing anything until then. So I entered. As I entered Swami's abode, everybody was silent. Savitri was silent, everybody. I entered, Swami was sitting in a chair and he was smiling and told me, rather asked me why I was late. I was not knowing anything, what's happening there. So I said, I could not answer that. But everybody was silent. All were there. All were there. So Swami had fracture, told fracture. So then Swami was looking at me. I told Swami, explained Swami everything. What is that? What has happened? You believe it or not, at that point of time, I only behaved as a doctor-patient relationship at that point of time. Probably if I had a Swami devoted relationship, probably I would have been more scared and more apprehensive in talking something. But never happened at that point of time. My and Swami's interaction happened as though I am seeing a patient and patient is in front of me. So I was very free in telling Swami everything. That I told him this is what happened. Like this is a 3 parts fracture, this is like this is the. Swami was sitting like this and smiling. Then he said, what should be done? Then I told there are methods of treatment and the non-surgical treatment is also there, surgical treatment is also there. So I prefer non-surgical treatment. I told Swami that I only said that I don't prefer surgical treatment now. Swami said, yes, okay, go ahead. Then I immobilized in a plaster of Paris. Swami was so pleasing and so pleasant, despite pain, despite agony. Somehow he was always smiling, always encouraging me and appreciating me on that particular day, that whatever I am doing. So I was very happy. So that was the time I was totally sucked into his influence. That was the day. Subsequently, I became very, very close to Swami. I went into Swami's foldings rather. And I used to visit almost 2 to 3 times in a week. Sometimes months together I stayed with Swami in either in Whitefield or in Puttaparthi. Swami used to regularly call me, send words to me, and I was going there. I was staying for weeks together, spending time with Swami, had breakfast with Swami. And see, Swami was taking care of me like more than a mother, I must tell you. Once he only told, because who will take such an interest? I am telling you, who will take such an interest of a person who is skeptic to elevate him professionally, to train him, making him more skilled, making him more brighter, elevating. Who wants it? Why he should have? Why at all he should have done it? But for him, I would have been. My status would have been different. But for Swami, but for Swami's influence, I was nothing. Today, if at all any status, if I got something in society, it's all because of him. So once I went to Swami in Puttaparthi, I was in Shanti Bhavan. So Swami called. So I went there. I was there in Shanti Bhavan. He went to Swami. So Swami said, "Come and have breakfast with me." Then I told Swami I had. In Shanti Bhavan only I had my breakfast. Instantly what he said, Shanti Bhavan is Attemane. Attemane, mother-in-law's house. He told in Kannada because he knew that my Telugu was not so good. He was interact with me in most of the time in Kannada only. He said, it is mother-in-law's house. You must have your food in mother's house. ಇದು ತಾಯಿ ಮನೆ, ಅದು ಅತ್ತೆ ಮನೆ. Come and eat in mother's house. So he was so explicit in telling that I am your mother. And he did that way to me. The life happened that way to me that Swami was like a mother to me. See, Swami was always telling in his discourse that I am there inside you, outside you, above you, below you, on the left side, right side, front, back, everywhere I am around you. I am taking care of you. He was telling in the discourses. But that only becomes words if it is a discourse. But I actually experienced it. I experienced it throughout my profession, how Swami is inside, how Swami is outside, on my all around me, how he is protecting me. This is a different experience, I tell you. Only one has to experience to know how Swami's presence is. Even today, even after the physical disappearance of Swami, I am protected in my so many aspects of my life. I can enumerate that. In 2005, because I was already there in service, government service, my department in Bangalore Medical College was troubling me like anything because I was still in a lower rung. I gradually had to get promotion and become professor. But the department was unfortunately was against me. Single-handedly, they were cornering me for so many reasons, and it was a really trouble for me. It was depressing, difficult to survive in the world of Bangalore Medical College faculty environment. They had gone to the extent of writing a petitions to the government, ministers, secretaries, that I have taken up one more job. I am working in Sathya hospital. I am getting a parallel income. It has gone to the government. Yeah, it was voluntary. But they wanted to pull me down. They tried all their level best to pull me down, corner me, and do so many things. So this was a big tool for them. So what happened in the early 2000, I was operating in, no, partially they were correct. See, their complaint was that I go out of that hospital, government hospital in the working hours, go to some other hospital operates, sees the patient, and also makes the money. The second part was wrong. First part was correct. I was coming, but even if I am coming out of that hospital, I was completing my work and then used to come. I was not making any work incomplete over there. I used to complete all my work and then come over here. So one such day in early 2000, I was operating in Sathya Hospital, General Hospital there. Minister has come. Dr. Malka Reddy was the medical education minister then. He has come to this hospital. Moment he told that name, I was shocked because I knew that many things were happening behind me. Petition had gone to minister, petition had gone to secretaries, everything I knew. I became a bit serious. So I thought, what is this happening now? So I had to go. So I took off my gloves and put on my dress and went towards. And he started introducing me to minister. What he introduced Srinivas, he is Dr. Manjunath, working in Bengaluru Medical College, working in Bowling Hospital. Malka Reddy was looking me from top to bottom. He got already a suspicion. He already had a complaint against me. But he never showed anything. Expressions were not bad. So I was totally depressed because I knew that something is going to happen in coming days. So he told me to take him towards and show all whatever the work we have done. So I took him, minister. I'm introducing all these cases, whatever the work we have done, and explaining everything. I don't know why he came, why Malak Reddy came all the way from different hospital to this hospital. I never knew. After that, he went away. He didn't ask me any question, Malak Reddy. Then, after going back, maybe after 3 or 4 days, I got a phone call to Boring Hospital. Again, I never had mobile then. I got a phone call to superintendent office that minister wants to speak to me. So I was damn sure that he's going to fire me now, or I may lose the job. Because few days back only he had come and gone. So I went to superintendent's chamber to receive the phone call. Then he asked me, are you Dr. Manjunath? Yes. You are the person who are working in Sathya Hospital? Yes. You are the person you met me on that day? Yes. His initial tone was something like that I am going to be removed. Then finally he asked, you should do me a favor to me. He asked me. I said, what favor, sir? No, I got one patient from Gulbarga because he's from Gulbarga. He is my vote bank. He has got so many votes behind him. He has got an arthritic hip. Can you get him a joint replacement done in your hospital? I said, gladly, sir. You send him, I will do it. Okay, you do one thing, you take him, get him done. Till he's there in the hospital, you must call me every day and give the feedback about the status of the patient. And he gave his personal number to me also. So that patient came, I operated, he became all right, he went away and I called him every day. And even tended there. And all my fear, apprehensions disappeared. And I got the confidence that this is Swami's act. This is Swami's act. Swami has boosted my confidence that nothing is going to happen if I am with you. So that happened. But despite that, my mind was a bit hesitant. So what I did, I went to secretary, Vidhan Soda, not our secretary, finance secretary, because Dr. Mr. Kedar was a finance secretary and he was known to me. I went and told him what's all happening in our department, how people are troubling me, how people are petitioning me against my activities in government. Can you help me out getting a letter from the government that I am allowed to work in Sathya Hospital? That was my question to him. He said, Dr. Manjunath, don't worry. Are you troubled by government at any point of time? No. When you are not troubled, why are you raising this question? If you raise this question, it will be a problem. Don't do that. You keep continuing. Let us see when that situation comes, I will try to do that. So he told me that also there also I got, so two levels I got the confidence. One is the bureaucratic level, another is the political level. Became highly confident and continued to work. Nothing happened later on. But their trouble never stopped. Trouble the department, almost every week I was getting a memo from the department that I am not performing my job. I am not doing my fixed work. I am not doing a teaching job. I am not conducting the classes. I am not taking so many things coming every now and then, troubling me like anything. So that was in the year 2005, I decided to give up my job, resign my job. go to private sector. So that was there in my mind, working up in my mind. With that state of mind, I had come to Puttaparthi once. And Swami was in Purnachandra at that time. The new building was not there, Purnachandra was there. Swami was in Purnachandra. I came, as usual, Swami, every now and then he used to send words to come. So I went there. So royal treatment to me. So he used to give breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything was given. And talking so many things. And he did the same thing on that day also. And I said, Swami, I am leaving. He permitted me to leave somewhere in the evening hours. So that time I never took my vehicle. I had gone by KSRTC. So I went to bus stand, Puttaparthi bus stand to catch my KSRTC bus to back to Bangalore. I was almost reached to bus stand. Swami's driver came running. Padmanabh came running behind me to bus stand and telling me that Swami wants to talk to you. You come back. So I said, okay, I was surprised for me. So I came back. Swami was standing at the doorstep only in Purnachandra. I was just waiting for me. I came. Moment I came, Swami looked at me and asked me a few questions, which he did not have to ask that question because he knew everything. But still he asked that question. First question was, where are you working? He knew it, but still asked, where are you working? I said, I am working in Bangalore Medical College, working in Boring Hospital. How many more years of service are there for you? Next question. Then the retirement was 58 years in Karnataka. So the retirement was booked to happen in 2015. Later it became 60, so it went up to 17, my retirement. But at that point of time, the retirement was supposed to happen in 2015. This question was raised in 2005. Swami was asking in 2005. I told another 10 years, means 2015, I am going to retire. Then Swami told, till you retire, you are not going to change the job, you are not going to leave the hospital, you will continue to work in the same hospital, same job, nothing doing. You continue. I was shocked. I never opened my mouth to anybody. Anybody. But it was communicated to Swami. I was shocked. That is how he was a mother to me. He protected me. I stuck to his words. Then Swami never left there. He knew I was in bus stand. Swami told Padmanabhan, you take my vehicle, drop him to Bangalore. So I was sent to Bangalore in his vehicle by his driver to Bangalore. That was a love he showed. Subsequently, what happened? Okay, I stuck to Swami's words. I became very confident, elevated. But what happened? 2010, I became professor. Sorry, 2010, I became professor and head of the department. I was already professor. 2010, I became head of the department in the same college. Barring all these people pulling my leg, they were writing petition, trying to spoil my confidential report. So many things they did. But I was promoted. This is another big story. How he became against Swami's influence. That takes another half a day for me to tell. How it happened. I tell you, these are all very, very important. How Swami played a role. They, in my department, they saw to it that my file never reached. There was a departmental promotional committee was existing in situations. That was the committee. That committee will go through who are all eligible for promotion, how to be promoted. So this DPC used to happen in the government office in Vidhan Sabha, headed by or constituted by Director of Medical Education, Head of the Department of Orthopedics, Secretary, Health Secretary, Medical Education Secretary, Law Secretary. These 4 or 5 people sit over there and take a decision. 2013, I became the medical superintendent of the hospital. 2015, I became the director of the institution. I went on becoming until 2020, I was the director of the medical college in the hospital. So all the promotions which was available to me, which was I could not even imagine could happen, happened to me. Not only he made me, gave me the job, he extended my service for another 5 years. My service was extended by 4 years to continue as a director. This is all done by Swami. So he was like, he was everything for me. He protected me, elevated me, sharpened me, brightened me, gave status to me, everything. In the history of Karnataka, or in the history of Government of India, or in the history of any state government services, there is no single evidence that a government servant appointed in one place not getting transferred for 35 years. I got my first appointment in Bangalore Medical College in the same hospital. I retired in the same medical college in the same hospital without getting a transfer anywhere, without an influence, without a support of political support, without financial support, without other caste community creeds criterias. I never had any such thing to have my these things. I was not moved out of this college. Single hospital, single college for 35 years. Nobody on this earth have got this. How is it possible without Swami saying? See, this is a frank evidence of how Swami is influencing me. In same college, in my own college, in my own department, everybody was transferred every 3 to 4 years. From Bangalore to Mysore, Mysore to Hubli, Hubli to Bellary. All these transfers were happening every 3 years, once in 3 years or 4 years. I was the only fellow who never got transfer from 1986 to 2020 in a single place. It is Swami's game. Everything was Swami's. That's why I told you. Before 2003, Swami was doing everything behind me. I was not aware of that. From 2003 onwards, everything he started doing in front of me. Now also, Swami, I feel the Swami's presence everywhere. Even today, I'm not scared of anything because Swami was telling 4 or 5 things. Sathya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa. Ahimsa was the extra one thing he added. If you stick on to this, nothing is going to touch you. That's what Swami was telling. And I try to inculcate that. To what extent, I don't know. I started inculcating from 1996, Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa. And Swami protected me. And Swami told the same thing. So long you stick to these principles, nobody on this earth can move you out. So even today, I'm sticking to the same thing, same principles, and Swami is protecting me. So I don't have a fear. So Swami was telling, don't fear when I am here. So I'm not fearing anything for anything. No, many times we don't believe so many things because we always look into a scientific support, scientific background. See, one thing I'll tell you, in mid 2011 or 12, Dr. Geeta, anesthesiologist who is working here, she just then joined the institution. I will tell you this one episode, how science cannot explain things. And I was, on that day, this was happened in General Hospital. The patient was an ankylosing spondylitis fellow. I did a totally pre-placement for him. And Dr. Geeta was an anesthetist. I think this was her first case. Just then she joined the service. She gave anesthesia. I finished the surgery. Patient was shifted to post-operative ward and she went away. I came and my routine was after operating, I used to go and sit in the outpatient, see the outpatient. After seeing the outpatient be over, then I come back, see the post-operative patient, then go home. That was the routine. In this case, what happened? Patient was operated, shifted to ward. I went to, as usual, went to the outpatient. I had some 2, 3 juniors. I was seeing the patient. I don't know. Something happened to my mind. My mind, my mind said, you get out of this place, go to ward. In the middle of the outpatient, I never used to do that. I told my juniors, you continue outpatient, I'll go to ward and come back. So I came round. I think if you have seen the previous general hospital, you know the corridors. So I went down, went into that operative area, post-operative ward area. I went inside. There was only one patient in the entire ward. No nurses was found at that time. Patient was on monitors. So I went inside. I went inside and I saw this patient, and this patient was struggling. He told me, he was a Bengali fellow. He was telling me in Hindi, Sab, किसी ने मुझे मेरा गला दबा रहा है. This is what exactly told. किसी ने मेरा गला दबा रहा है. I was a bit shocked. I looked at his monitor. The monitor was showing everything good. BP was normal, pulse was normal, everything. I got surprised. Then I put my hand onto his pulse. No pulse. Unfortunately, they have not refreshed that monitor. The refresh button, they have not done it. So it was a old record. So I was carried away by that. Even nurses were carried away because there was no nurse sitting over. Though there was a nursing station, the nurse came and saw the monitor and went away to another ward and was sitting there in another ward, thinking that patient was okay because monitor was showing normal. I put my hand, pulse was not there. Then I started checking the BP. I refreshed it. BP was not recordable. Then I asked him to open the tongue. Tongue was jet blue. No oxygenation. I thought this fellow is in shock now. I may lose him also. I just wanted to call Geeta. Geeta has switched off the phone. I don't know. It was not ringing. I became furious. I started shouting. Nobody is hearing. That was a secluded ward, far away from where nurse was sitting. I was shouting. Nobody came. Then I went to, there was an emergency trolley nearby, luckily. I went to emergency trolley. I took adrenaline and hydrocortisone, loaded into a syringe and put directly into the heart. I pumped 2 ampules of adrenaline, 2 ampules of hydrocortisone into his heart directly and started giving a resuscitation. And because of my shouting, then a nurse came. Then she helped me in how to get an access into vein. And next thing was to start a vein and put a fluid, IV. Veins were all closed. But with great difficulty, somehow I put a cannula. Started running the fluid and resuscitation. In this process, my juniors also came to know that something has happened bad in the ward. So they also came. And they also started giving resuscitation. 10 minutes passed, something like that, 5 to 8, 8 to 10 minutes passed away and no response. Patient had gone. Pupil dilated. There's no response. This was my first post-operative death in my history, would have been. I never encountered such a situation anywhere. I was looking at my junior's face and I was depressed. We were all standing there mourning for his end, or probably ended. Sister was standing, everything, whatever possible, we did it. Only thing is we could not contact Geeta. That was the only thing. So, what to do? We are standing there a few minutes. You believe it or not, that fellow who was dead, because no pulse, no BP, the pupil were dilated, just got up and sat. He got up and sat and started speaking. You know what is the first thing he spoke? He spoke, Sir, मैं आ गया हूँ. He told. I was standing. I was shocked. He was telling, आ गए हूँ, कहाँ गए थे आप? Asked. मैं आ गया साहब, कहाँ गए थे? साहब मैं गया था हाथ में फूल लेके. He is telling. See, this is, I was also a bit skeptic in the beginning. I will tell you why it became very important for me. He told that he has gone with a handful of flowers. मैं हाथ में फूल लेके गया था बादलों के बीच में. He is telling, in the midst of clouds. He saw Swami standing there. Behind Swami, I was standing. He was like, आप भी खड़े थे स्वामी के पीछे. मैं फूल को उनको दिया. स्वामी ने बोला, गो बैक, जाओ. मैं आ गया. I am not exaggerating anything here. Everything is the same words he told. I was shocked. And looking into parameters, everything was normal. He survived. He went back later on. He is doing very well, perhaps. I was shocked. Till then, I was not knowing there is an entity called near-death experience. I was never knowing this. Then I went to the internet. I started searching into any such things. Huge works are done in the Western world, in America and Europe. And there are centers, exclusive centers to study this near-death experience of the patient. And when I go into their experiences, they are putting so many examples of similar examples of how the patient felt, experienced and come back. And this was one such. You tell me what science is needed for this. That fellow saw Swami. Swami told go back, and he came back. Any science can support this. No science can support it. But is it false? It is not false. This phenomenon is going on all over the world. It's not exclusive to this hospital. You are only the tool. I am the surgeon. Swami told long, long ago, you are all tools. I am the surgeon. So that is true. That is true every time, because we should not have that ego or arrogance that we are doing something or we have done something. It's not true, because same thing we do in so many patients, same results will not come. Same surgeon, same quality of surgery, same, but results are not equal. Results are different. Then where is your ego? Where is your arrogance? So Swami has told that many times. So this is one episode happened, near death experience, again connected to Swami only. It is very, very difficult to replicate the same system anywhere in the world. My point is very clear, because there are many institutions, teaching institutions, there are free hospitals are there, government hospitals were free when I was working there. There were many free hospitals, many charity hospitals, everywhere I worked. But it is unique here. It is unique here because it is a graced hospital. It is insulated by Swami's grace even today. I don't know, because it is also true that God is must be there everywhere. God cannot confine himself only to Sathya institution. He is there everywhere. But the system is so compliant to Swami's principles here. It is more protected here. They are also protected, I am not denying. But the systems are so bad. Systems are not performing. I told you the principles, Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema. These fundamental core principles are not followed in most of the other institutions where I have worked. So Swami's presence cannot be felt so easily. You feel Swami's presence only when you stick to the principles. That is my belief. If you want to experience Swami, Swami will not come to you before he will not appear. He will not come with a wand. If you want to experience Swami, you follow this path. Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema. Then you experience Swami. See, you must see the general hospital was running. Swami was loving that hospital like anything. Patient used to come and there was nobody to prevent them. Now you are closing the doors, main doors and everything here. But those days, when Satya Sai hospital, the door was always open. Patient used to come any point of time, any time. And even if the patient comes at 10 o'clock, because those days the transportation was so bad, they were allowed to sleep in the hospital. Because many times what happened, they used to come by 9:30, because I was sitting in the outpatient till 9:30, 10, they could not go home. But they were not turned out. The patients were allowed to sleep there, in the corridors, wherever space was available. And next day morning they used to go. And the type of doctors were there, they were all highly dedicated. At Savitri, they are lovely people. They never used any harsh words on any patient. They were never aggressive on any patient. The principles followed in selecting the patient treatment was also honest. We are not carried away by any commercial interest. If this patient needs surgery, we will do surgery. If the patient does not need surgery, no surgery. No benefit. No illicit or gratification issues. Nobody was favoring that this fellow is doing some favor to me and I have to help. No such things. Means there was Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema. Everything was existing here in the fundamental work. Right from the day the patient arrives, everybody was working in the similar mindset that we must do some justice to this patient. This fellow has come all the way, irrespective of his social status, irrespective of caste, community and creed, religion and other things. He has come with some desperation, come with some agony. You have to make him all right. So everything is here now. Satya is there, Dharma, Shanti, Prem, everything is assembled there. When your goal is only that much, God will protect. But when you go to some other hospital, goal is not that. The moment the patient arrives, how much I can get money out of this patient? That is different. There, Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prem is not. So that is how in these institutions, no, I'm not talking about the contemporary situation, because things change. Over decades, everything changes. I'm telling you about the environment where I started working. Was something like that. I love to come to this hospital because there was such environment. Everybody, you take from Aya or sweeper, everybody was dedicated and loving, patient loving, doing something good to that patient. No other interest. Come what may, what situation, whatever the situation, don't deviate your path from Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema. In whatever the difficulties, in whatever the difficult situations, don't change the path. Stick to that path. So that is my still think that is the crux of the thing. Then once you have this, Swami always protect. You always experience Swami in you, inside you, around you. This is what Swami told. My experience, my knowledge is that the Atma, Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa, what is Swami was always talking about, that is the Atma of Atma of a life. If that is existing, any hospital can become like this. But right now, what I see is this hospital is having that Atma. And if at all, if anybody wants to replicate this hospital, building will not replicate, board will not replicate. People claiming so many surgeries, so many things done, this, that will not claim unless you have that Atma. Atma is Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema. If it is there, it is replicatable. Such similar hospital can come anywhere in this earth, any number of hospitals. But it is difficult. That should be understood by whoever is want to replicate this hospital should understand we have to bring in Atma here. Atma is Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema. That is the pillars. Swami always told. These are the pillars a body can stand, an institution can stand. So if these are not there, it's only building, it's only structure. So that's what I feel. There's a huge difference between many hospitals. This hospital is this way. I was alone. He called me alone in here, three only. He called me alone. He was sitting on the first floor. So Swami and myself, only two were there in that room. He called me. Swami told me, you are a doctor. Now what should be the mind of a doctor? He told me that. He told me that you must treat body as a temple. Body is a temple. Don't consider body is something available for you to do anything and everything. Okay. Body is a temple. He asked me, do you violate the temple? Do you break the temple? Do you spoil the temple? Do you pollute the temple? No. You should not do that. It is sacred. And God lives inside. I am living inside. God living inside. So don't violate the temple. You pray God. No, this why he told, because there was lot of activities going on to do a lot of interventions. No, the technology has come forward and so many things have changed and a lot of opportunity to do interventions. Opening the body unnecessarily, cut the body unnecessarily, do so many things. Swami was not liking it. He told me, you believe it or not, from then onwards, I became so careful in selecting the patient for surgery. I never was subjecting any patient for surgery. Even today, I am now very popularly known even in my practice that I am a non-operating surgeon because I never operate on patients unnecessarily. The surgery is absolutely indicated. That's what Swami said. You cannot violate the temple. You can only renovate the temple. He told me that. He's the one-to-one. Why he told? Because he wanted to improve me, refine me. And I took it. So then onwards, I was only repairing the temple, not violating it. No, this is a very strong message Swami gave to doctors, particularly surgeons, any doctors for that matter. No, the current generation of doctors, always technology is there and so many things are there, a lot of interventions, unnecessary interventions. He said interventions are not bad, but intervention should be judicious. So that is another important message Swami gave to me. I always tell also others that don't claim for any success of your profession to yourself. If I do something and if some patient becomes ill, it's not because of you. That's the most important for a surgeon. Swami told karma is different, karma yoga is different. Karma is everybody is doing karma. Karma becomes yoga, only you submit everything to him. It's your grace, not me, responsible for this action or the results. You are the owner of the action, you are the owner of the results. So if you have that mindset and then work, if you become Karma Yoga, then you are the right person. This also he has told. So that's what we are doing. Whatever I am doing, coming here, working in this hospital, it's not my to get any my credit or may become more popular and become no. I never even show my face to patients. Many patients here in this hospital do not know whom I am. So I come here, I see the patient. If they are really indicated for surgery or surgery is going to help them really, then we'll do it. If surgery is not going to help them, we'll not do it. So that sort of a mindset Swami has given to me. So these are all some of the messages Swami has communicated to me. Most important messages for any profession, particularly a doctor profession. Sathya, Dharma, Shanti, Prem, stick to it. Don't do unnecessary interventions. Don't show that you are a big man. I can do wonders. And you can, don't, many doctors claim, I can solve everything with a knife. You cannot solve everything with a knife. It's not possible. So I have got examples for that also to substantiate what Swami said, but time is not there. So this is how I modified my, changed my profession, influenced my profession, modified myself, and became a reasonably achieved some status because of Swami. So I am continuing to work and continuing to work till Swami says no, don't come here.